Show. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. Well, on our Tuesday show, I purposely did not talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock and what happened at the Oscars. I knew there was some updates on Tuesday, and we had other topics to deal with on Tuesday. So I said we would talk about it on our show today. But I didn't know that we were going to get this story breaking late today. Now, I've been following this pretty closely. We talked about this on our Monday show, and our Monday, March 28th show is rebroadcasting. It's been rebroadcasting on our social media platforms. But the story came out today, New York Times, Washington Post, Detroit Free Press, USA Today. Will Smith to face disciplinary action, refused to leave Oscars after Chris Rock slap, Academy says. Okay, Will Smith to face disciplinary action, refused to leave Oscars after Chris Rock slap, Academy says. So what we now on Monday, when the Academy put out its statement, they said that they were initiating a formal review on Monday, which was March 28th. Okay. And now the formal review is now the Academy, the Board of Governors, they're talking about they've begun the process of disciplining Will Smith for inappropriate physical contact, abusive or threatening behavior, and compromising the integrity of the Academy. So we're going to get into this today. The number of different articles we're going to look at. Detroit Free Press has a good one. New York Times, Washington Post. So after the story broke, I've been going through looking at all this. And also Whoopi Goldberg commented on this on The View as well. And Whoopi Goldberg is a member of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences Board of Governors. So Whoopi Goldberg is not just somebody just out there commenting. No, because I saw some people talking about Whoopi. No, Whoopi Goldberg is on the Board of Governors. The Board of Governors is going to vote on April 18th. All right. This is escalating. This is escalating. And for all those that want to talk about Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff, there were new policies that the Academy adopted in 2017 after Harvey Weinstein. So we're going to talk about this on today's show. Hopefully, Will Smith put out a statement and he expressed, he apologized to Chris Rock. We know that. We talked about that on Monday. He apologized to Chris Rock. He posted on his Instagram and Facebook pages. But this is escalating, and this is an example of how actions have consequences also. Actions have consequences, okay? You can't just, a lot of times when people process certain things, they process just their side of what happens. They just process their actions. A lot of times they don't process what the alternatives could be or process what the reaction could be from somebody, okay? So luckily, I think Will Smith and a lot of people are thankful that Chris Rock didn't hit Will Smith back and it did not escalate, because Chris Rock could have defended himself also. All right. And then the other story that I was going to talk about on today's show, and we're going to deal with it as well, is the Black News Channel filed for bankruptcy on Monday. Now, we've been talking about the Black News Channel announced that they were shutting down. And that information came out Friday, March 25th. The Black News Channel, I talk about it a lot here on this show. We share information from the Black News Channel here. They had some really good programming. They had very low ratings. Unfortunately, they weren't doing singing and dancing, and they didn't have comedy and things like this. They didn't show marathons of Sanford and Son and Good Times, what have you. So they announced that they were shutting down on March 25th, and they're going to stop. They now on their station they just have pre-recorded programming running, and they're going to stop broadcasting altogether at the end of this month. But they filed for bankruptcy on Monday, and we're going to talk about that also. They have debt of up to $50 million. Okay, debt of up to $50 million. So we'll give you an update on what's going on with the Black News Channel as well. This is really a tragedy because they had a lot of really good information on the Black News Channel. All right, and we'll let you know about the online classes that I'm teaching on Saturdays and Sundays as well. Okay, calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. On the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Okay, so if we look quickly here, we're going to clip one from Good Morning America in just a minute, Shakita. So cue it up, please. If we look at this story here from, let's look at this one here from the Washington Post first. And USA Today has some really good reporting on this. So I read the articles from NBC News, New York Times, USA Today, Washington Post. If we look at Washington Post quickly, then I want to focus on this one from Detroit Free Press that they picked up from the USA Today. Because those that watch this show, you know, I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. So this is what I do. Let's go to this one here from the Washington Post quickly. Will Smith refused to leave the Oscars. Let's see. Will Smith refused to leave the Oscars after slapping Chris Rock, Academy says. Will Smith refused to leave the Oscars after slapping Chris Rock, Academy says. And if let's close some of this out here. All right. Okay. So the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced Wednesday, March 30th, that Will Smith was asked to leave the Oscar ceremony after he slapped Chris Rock, but Will Smith refused. So some people ask the question, okay, why didn't they eject Will Smith, things like this? When you have this stuff is going to come out in the investigations, because that's a liability also, okay? Because if Will Smith later on attacked Chris Rock again and injured Chris Rock, hypothetically, Chris Rock will really have a good lawsuit, because when you throw events at venues, anybody that's thrown parties at clubs or at arenas, had any type of events, promoted events, things like this, you know you have to carry liability insurance. Okay, you know you have to carry liability insurance in case somebody gets injured, in case somebody gets hurt, or what have you. Okay, so if there was a situation where they didn't eject Will Smith and then another altercation breaks out and he ends up injuring Chris Rock has a good lawsuit, because you also have a duty to protect the people there as well. You also have a duty to protect the people also. Okay. All right. Now, quote, things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated, the Academy said in a statement in which it also apologized to Chris Rock and announced that disciplinary measures may be taken at its next board meeting on April 18th. Its next board meeting on April 18th. Quote, we also recognize we could have handled the situation differently, end quote. Now, a lot of people are saying that, oh, why didn't they, I was watching Roland Martin. So the information, to be fair, Roland didn't have a chance to read through the statement because he dealt with it at the end of his show today. But a lot of people are saying, and Roland said this also, oh, they just come out with this statement that about disciplinary charges, things like this. It's important to note that on Monday, the day after the Oscars, the Academy put out a statement saying that they were launching a formal review. Detroit Free Press, March 28th, 2022, which was Monday. You look at this piece here, and let's go to this. We're coming up on a break, but I want to show you this before we go to the break. Stand by. Academy launches formal review after Will Smith slaps Chris Rock on the Oscar stage. This was originally from the USA Today. This is from Monday, March 28th. They announced on Monday, they released a statement on Monday, and let's close this out. They released a statement on Monday afternoon. The Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith at last night's show. We have officially started a formal review around the incident and will explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law. That was on Monday that the formal review started. We're going to continue this on the other side of the break because we do research here. We're going to continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Jeanette Davis is a well-established author with 6 published books. Black Survival in White America from Past History to the Next Century was published in 1995, and it delves into the history of African Americans before slavery up to contemporary times. The Great Divide Between Blacks and Whites was released in 2008, and her autobiography, Black Just Like My Mama, was published in 2010. Soulful Journey, The Business of Beings, was released in December 2021, and her 2 latest books, Echoes from the Heart, Love Throws Poetry, and Master Being Human, were both published in January of 2022. Jeanette Davis' writings delve deeply into the psyche of Black people from ancient to contemporary times. She cuts no corners and leaves no stones unturned in relating truth, letting the chips fall where they may on both African and European doorsteps. Order Jeanette Davis's books today at Amazon.com. Search for Jeanette Davis and get to know her work today.
The work that I do is larger than the fashion industry. It's larger than the art world. And I believe that I was born to bring newness into this world. I'm Kaima McIntyre. I'm 24 years old and I'm an artist. I create everything from paintings to jewelry design, metaphysical jewelry to be specific, and fashion design. The only reason why my prom dress went viral is because people needed it. Within a few days of going viral, Notori Naughton reached out to me and she's like, I saw your dress, can you make me a dress? I was equally as shocked to be asked by a celebrity to design their dress at the age of 17. That's just one person, and the list just continues to go on to Janet Jackson, to Tyra Banks. It really hits home. That means that the discussion is happening on the grounds in real time.
History Network show, we deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Unfortunately, many people confuse what racism is. Racism is a power structure. It was laws and policies that put us in this predicament. It's going to be laws and policies that take us out. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the compass of his or her actions because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know.
We have it all on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and we are live. All right, now somebody posted here, what about Jenny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, things like that. Now, you do know I'm on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, every Friday, and we discuss stuff like that. We discuss things like that here. We'll probably talk about that in the next couple of days. Okay, but I'm on Roland Martin Unfiltered as a panelist every Friday, so we discuss things like that there. Okay, so we'll go to the phone lines in just a minute here. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a quick question or comment, because this is only a 1-hour show. I want to go back to this article. This is from USA Today and USA Today and Detroit Free Press. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is why you have to go through and look at a timeline and like really look at, okay, when things happen. This is why a sequence is so important. The Academy of Sciences, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, they launched a formal review on Monday, the day after the Oscars. They didn't launch the formal review today. Okay, this article is from Detroit Free Press, Monday, March 28th, 2022. Okay, we know Questlove won for Best Documentary. That was the award that Chris Rock was presenting. Questlove winning for the documentary Summer of Soul was just overshadowed by this incident. We know Chris Rock declined to file police charges as well. But the Academy on Monday once again said, they released a statement, quote, "The Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith at last night's show. We have officially started a formal review around the incident and will explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law," end quote. Okay, so what came out today was that Will Smith, the Academy wanted Will Smith to leave. They wanted to eject him, and he refused to go. Okay, now they talked about this. We're going to clip one, Shakita. They talked about this morning on Good Morning America, and I want to go to this clip because this gives a good synopsis of what happened so far up to this morning. Let's go to clip one.
More fallout from that stunning Oscars moment. Top Academy officials are weighing possible disciplinary actions after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. This as the comedian gets ready to take the stage for the first time since the award. TJ Holmes at the latest for us. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning to you all. And the Academy adopted a new code of conduct for its members after the Harvey Weinstein scandal in 2017. Among other things, it said that its members should respect human dignity and behave in such a way that they don't use their power or influence in such a way that violates decency. Well, you could argue that millions saw a blatant violation of that code on Sunday. Well, they're now meeting today, the board, to decide what to do about it.
The Academy Board of Governors is preparing to take what it calls appropriate action in response to this shocking moment on the Oscars stage.
Oh, wow!
In a new letter obtained by ABC News overnight, top Academy officials say they are upset and outraged over Will Smith's onstage assault of Chris Rock, but they warn this must follow an official process that will take a few weeks. The Board of Governors reportedly called its annual post-Oscars meeting with added urgency due to the fallout. The group of Hollywood power players, including View co-host Whoopi Goldberg, now meeting later today.
There are consequences. Yeah. There are big consequences. There has to be. Well, yeah, because nobody is okay with what happened. Nobody.
But experts say it's unlikely those consequences would include revoking Smith's Best Actor award.
It could be something as small as nothing, or it could be upwards of expulsion from the Academy for Will Smith. There have been calls for him to have his Oscar rescinded, and that is highly unlikely to happen, especially considering that controversial figures like Harvey Weinstein and Roman Polanski, both of which were convicted of crimes, got to keep their Oscars after their expulsions from the Academy.
Amy Schumer, who co-hosted the Oscars, shared her feelings for the first time, writing on Instagram, "Still triggered and traumatized. Love my friend Chris Rock and believe he handled it like a pro, waiting for this sickening feeling to go away from what we all witnessed." A seat filler sitting at Bradley Cooper's table next to the Smiths said Jada Pinkett Smith's reaction may have been the turning point.
When Chris Rock said that joke, I looked over at Jada, and you could tell that she was not happy at all. And then I think once Will looked at her, I think his demeanor kind of changed.
Pinkett Smith now writing in an Instagram post, "This is a season for healing, and I'm here for it." Smith apologized to Rock and called his actions unacceptable and inexcusable.
That was the greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Chris Rock hasn't commented since the Oscars, but the comedian is ready to hit the stage again, kicking off his tour starting tonight in Boston. Tickets to dozens of his upcoming tour dates quickly selling out, with resellers like StubHub seeing the tickets that started at $46 now going for more than $700. TigPic saying by the morning after the Oscars, we sold more tickets to see Chris Rock overnight than we did in the past month combined. Rock's former SNL co-star and longtime pal Adam Sandler shared this photo promoting Rock's tour on Instagram alongside the words, "Can't wait for this. Love you, buddy."
Now, the Oscar nominations in the past, there have been some that have been revoked. Only nominations are usually because of some kind of error, a mistake was made, or and whatnot, not usually for conduct. And guys, get this, we talk about how this took away from that, from the Oscars, the increase of over about 60% in ratings. Went up to about 16.6 from the year before. But the highlight spike of the night, Troy Kotsur. The highest viewership is when the first deaf man won an acting Oscar. But some of that is being taken away from because of this incident.
Yeah. And so we have to wait now a few weeks before the...
There's going to be a few weeks process before we know what they ultimately do.
All right, TJ. Thanks so much.
Well, hey, okay, pause it right there. All right, thank you. Thank you, Shakita. Okay, so now Chris Rock was performing today, performing tonight, and there's a piece from New York Times on this I was reading, so we'll pull this up here. Now, Chris Rock said he's still processing the slap because it just came out of nowhere. Now, there was also a article that I was reading this morning from it was either New York Daily News or New York Post, because I read so many articles each day. It was one of them, and they were saying that Will Smith has, the past few months, Will Smith has been on edge because of the various stories in the media about he and Jada's relationship, August Alsina, things like this. So he's been on edge for months, according to the reporting. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
What does self-care mean to you? To us, it's an opportunity to reconnect with nature. A chance to create something remarkable. At Sage and Elm Apothecary, our handcrafted skincare and household products immerse you in Earth's sweetest nectar, connecting you to nature in a way you never imagined. See for yourself and visit us at sageandelmapothecary.com.
iRedify is a Black-owned digital platform that showcases Black and Brown cultures and people. The books on the platform are written by African-American authors, Afro-Caribbean authors, African authors, and so much more. Kids 14 and under can read ebooks, listen to audiobooks, and complete learning activities. Kids can even write in the books digitally. Get unlimited access to everything on the platform for only $8.99 a month at iRedify.com. Sign up for your membership today.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and we are live. All right, so before we go back to the phone lines, I want to remind you that we're celebrating our 12th year anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. First broadcasted March 10th, 2010. And that was back when I was on the Harambe Radio Network. So I've been doing this for 12 years. If you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network. $ the AHN show through Cash App. $ the AHN show through Cash App. And through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. I have over 1,000 shows archived. So you can download the iHeartRadio app, search for the African History Network show, and they have about 300 of my podcasts there, audio podcasts. But also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, And right on the home page, click on listen to podcasts. It takes you to our Blog Talk Radio page. We have over 1,000 audio podcasts of my shows. Okay. And we have the information for PayPal and Cash App there. This is our Fish App account, $ TheAHNShow, SHOW. When you go to it, it says Michael and shows my picture there. These other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. And then also you can register for the online history classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. On Saturday, our 10-week online class, Ancient Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We do 1,000 years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place, and also the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, who take the teachings from ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, the Nile Valley region of Africa into Europe. And this brings Europe out of the Dark Ages, but to our detriment, because this is why I say I wish we never taught them, because everything we taught them came back to kick us in the behind. I don't think Chris Rock was trying to personally insult her. Okay, but I don't know either one of them. But I don't think he was trying to personally insult her. Just like earlier in the show, when Regina Hall made a joke about their open relationship, she was making a joke. I don't think she's trying to personally insult them. See, very few people talking about that. There have been a few articles written about that. Earlier in the show, Regina Hall, early in the same Oscars, Regina Hall made a joke about their open relationship. They were sitting in the front row. Very few people are talking about that. Okay. And Will gave a negative reaction to it, but he didn't jump up on stage. Okay. But once again, something was triggered in Will that has been dealing with what's been happening for months. Okay. And the stories that have been written and things like this, something was triggered in Will and he exploded. But when you explode, it has, unfortunately, it has consequences like that. If Will has stood up and waved his hands like that and said, that's not funny, don't do that, stop talking about my wife to Chris would have backed off. Personally, I don't think he was trying to personally attack them. Okay. It's just like if somebody's sitting in the front row at a lecture or something, and I say, and somebody has a bald head, is a guy with a bald head, and I say, look, man, I'm looking forward to Kojak Part 2 coming, or Kojak 2022 coming. You'd be good for Kojak 2022. But then I find out afterwards, well, he has cancer and he's going through chemotherapy. That's why he's bald. Okay. I'll be like, well, hold on. I didn't know you had cancer. I was talking about your bald head. I apologize. I'm sorry for that. I did not know you had cancer. So personally, I don't think he was trying to personally attack her, but we'll see. But anyway, I want to get back to this here. All right. But once again, these actions have consequences. All right. Now, if we go back to the Detroit Free Press had a good article that they picked up from USA Today. This just came out today. Will Smith to face disciplinary action, refused to leave Oscars after Chris Rock slap, Academy says. Because things could have escalated. Now, Denzel Washington stepped in to de-escalate things and talk to Will Smith and console him, Tyler Perry as well. This is some good reporting right here from the USA Today, and it's picked up by the Detroit Free Press. So if we look at this quickly here, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has announced the initiation of disciplinary proceedings against Will Smith over his behavior at Sunday's Oscars. The Academy said in a statement Wednesday that its board of governors has begun the process of disciplining Will Smith for inappropriate physical contact, quote, inappropriate physical contact, abusive or threatening behavior, and compromising the integrity of the Academy, end quote. The Academy also said that Will Smith was asked to leave the Oscars after slapping Chris Rock on stage and yelling expletives, but the actor refused. Will Smith went on to win the Oscar for Best Actor for his role in King Richard, giving a tearful speech on stage. Quote, things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated. The Academy statement read, things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated. While we would like to clarify that Mr. Smith was asked to leave the ceremony and refused, we also recognize we could have handled the situation differently. We also recognize we could have handled the situation differently. Now, the Academy also condemned Will Smith's actions as a quote, deeply shocking, traumatic event witnessed in person on television, and quote, end quote, and apologized to Chris Rock, to whom Will Smith slapped on stage over a joke about his wife Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head. Okay, now, as a result of Will Smith's actions, the Academy has provided the actor with 15 days notice of a vote regarding his violations and sanctions, and the opportunity to be heard beforehand by means of a written response, end quote. Okay, 15 days notice of a vote regarding his violations and sanctions, and the opportunity to be heard beforehand by means of a written response, end quote. Now, the Academy said it may decide to take other disciplinary action, including suspension, expulsion, or other sanctions at its next board meeting, April 18th. In a previous statement, which we showed you, for Monday afternoon, March 28th, the Academy said it planned to investigate the incident. Quote, the Academy condemns the actions of Mr. Smith at last night's show. We have officially started a formal review around the incident and will explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws, standards of conduct, and California law, end quote. Now, this was a step further than the Academy's statement just after Sunday night's show, which said the organization does not condone violence. All right. So read the rest of this here. And as we talked about on our show Monday, I shared additional information about alopecia, because alopecia is an autoimmune disease. Now, we know Jada Pinkett Smith revealed in 2018 that she had alopecia, and I knew she had a problem with her hair falling out. I forgot that it was alopecia, but in doing research for Monday's show, I shared an article that gave background information on what alopecia is and how it can be painful, physically painful as well when the hair falls out, because of alopecia is an autoimmune disease. All right. Okay, we're coming up on a break. When we you listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the Black News Channel that filed for bankruptcy on Monday. You know, we've been following this story, and we'll talk a little bit more about Will Smith, what's taking place here as well. And this is an example of how, you know, your actions have consequences. And we know there's some emotional issues Will Smith is dealing with. So hopefully, I think he's been through therapy before, but hopefully, you know, this will work out for him. He'll come out better on the other end. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Abundant Capital Group is a real estate investment company with over 20 years of experience in real estate. They specialize in two areas of real estate. One, they solve real estate problems with creative financing solutions that give the seller the most money for their property. And two, they show individuals how to get a higher rate of return on their investment capital with real estate note investing. If you are looking to sell or need to sell your property, here is what they provide. Market value offer, even if you have little or no equity. They typically pay all closing costs, which can be thousands of dollars. They close on a date, of the seller's choosing, and the seller does not have to be out of the house at the time of closing. They take the property in an as-is condition, and the seller is not required to make any repairs. Give them a call or email them today for a free consultation and see how they can help you with your real estate needs. Call them at 973-475-8488. That's 973-475-8488. Visit their website, abundantcapitalgroup.com. That's abundantcapitalgroup.com. And email them at acg@abundantcapitalgroup.com. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Abundant Capital Group.
Mental health and well-being have long been a taboo subject in the so-called African American community. So I enlisted the help of mental health experts, thought leaders, and activists to help kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and heal from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
We experience trauma a lot of times on a subconscious level. So sometimes something happens to us and we know that it's traumatizing, but we don't really recognize the extent of the trauma.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and we are live. Okay. All right. I want to go back to, let's see here. Let's look at I did not get a chance to get to the New York Times article dealing with, we'll come to Tony Rock's response in just a minute. Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock, responded as well. So this piece here from New York Times came out today. And this is, just a second here. Okay, Will Smith refused to leave Oscars after slap, Academy says. But it has an update in here from Chris Rock, because Chris Rock was performing his stand-up show today, and he just made a brief comment about it, and he said he's still processing what happened. Okay, so let me go to this because they've updated this since they've updated this article since I printed it up. Okay, let's see. Okay, shortly after the revelation, Chris Rock used a sold-out comedy show in Boston to make his first public comments about the incident since Will Smith slapped him during the live global broadcast of the Academy. Chris Rock asked the crowd at the Wilbur in Boston's theater district, "How was your weekend?" Chris Rock said, "I'm still kind of processing what happened." Chris Rock said, briefly addressing the topic everyone was talking about. He promised to discuss it in greater depth later. He said, quote, "It'll be serious, it'll be funny, but I'd love to. I'm going to tell some jokes." He talked about how he already had material already prepared for this performance, for this stand-up act. Okay. So you have that. You have the statement from Tony Rock as well. Oh, okay. Well, let me continue here. So he got a standing ovation today when he came out and said he's still trying to process it. The veteran stand-up actor didn't speak publicly about the incident until his show Wednesday evening. Chris Rock's entrance was met with an immediate standing ovation. And after audience members took their seats, they stood up again, prompting the comedian to try to quiet them so he could start. He said, "Let me do my show, y'all." He said, "Y'all got me misty." He addressed the elephant in the room, noting that he did not have a lot to say about what happened. He said, "So if you came to hear that, I had like a whole show I wrote before this weekend," end quote. Okay. All right. This is a picture of him arriving at the Wilbur Theater in the Boston Theater District. He's wearing a Detroit Tigers hat, representing for Detroit. Chris Rock's grace under pressure that night was one of the few things that drew praise in the aftermath of the ugly moment. He stayed on stage after he was struck, quipped to the stunned audience that, quote, that was the greatest night in the history of television, and went on with the show. And once again, he was presenting the award for best documentary that went to Questlove. And what happened, him getting slapped, Will Smith cursing, all that overshadowed Questlove's win. But this reminds me of if anybody's ever studied Bruce Lee before, and I have, Bruce Lee used to, when the karate practitioners would talk about how many bricks they could break and things like that, Bruce Lee used to say bricks don't hit back. That's real good. You can break 16 bricks, all that stuff. Bricks don't hit back. It's different when you're trying to hit something that's going to hit you back. And a lot of times, you know, and if Will had to do it all over again, I don't think he'd do that. He exploded. And if you read probably on tomorrow's show, or maybe when we go into overtime, I'll find that article, because I was having this conversation with somebody the past couple of days, and I was like, no, this is deeper than that just that joke. I said, this is a buildup. I said, this is a buildup of all this stuff that's been circulating the past few months, and all these articles and about their relationships, August Alsina, all this. And I said, this is a buildup to that. And then also, then early in the Oscars, Regina Hall made a joke about their open relationship also. And Will had a negative reaction to that as well. So I don't think Regina Hall meant something negative to them personally. Regina Hall and Jada are in the movie Girls Trip together. So I don't think Regina Hall meant something malicious either, you know. But hey, hopefully the penalty for Will Smith won't be too severe, and he'll come out better on the other side of this. Okay. Now, I want to go to this, and you can read this story here from People Magazine as well. Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock, speaks out after 2022 Oscar slap. Tony Rock knocked the apology from Will Smith. Okay, Tony Rock knocks out, knocking Will Smith's apology. Tony Rock said he does not approve of Will Smith's apology to his brother Chris Rock, whom Will Smith smacked during the Oscars. Okay, so you can read this also. I posted on our Facebook fan page, brothers are going to work it out, and hopefully all this stuff gets worked out. And you know, this is also another reason why I think it's important for therapy, and not trying to, you know, not trying to be funny, not in the African American community, you know, therapy for various reasons has a negative connotation. But, you know, you're at the level that Will is, and Jada, Chris Rock, all them, they deal with pressures that the average people don't deal with. Okay, they deal with pressures the average people. I mean, you're in a whole nother zone. So if the average person is dealing with pressures and they're dealing with children and wife or husband and the job, things like that, think of the pressures. People are not writing. Let's put it like this. Whatever problem you have going on in your life, most likely the paparazzi, most likely the tabloids, news media are not reporting on it. Most likely it ain't all over social media. Okay, but when you're trying to deal with problems in your marriage, and maybe problems in your marriage, and all in social media, all that stuff, it's a different world. Okay, no pun intended. She was on a different world, Jada Pinkett Smith, but I'm saying it's a different world. There's a whole nother level or layer of pressure and problems that you deal with. Okay, all right. I want to go to because some people didn't see it. I hate all these ads. Please, Lord. Oh, okay. For those who did not see the apology from Will Smith, we're going to go through that quickly here. And then we're going to talk about the Black News Channel filing for bankruptcy. Okay, we'll talk about that. And they have debts of up to $50 million. All right, be sure to register for the online classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm a historian as well. I've been studying 30 years. I have about 45 lectures on DVD and digital download at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. But be sure to register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Ancient Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Remember, right now it's correct. Wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're going to keep going for a few more minutes. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. All right, stand by. Okay, I had to disconnect that call. Okay, we're going to go to the story on the Black News Channel here just a second. Be sure to visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and you can register for the online classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Then also, we have a new class that started up. This one is actually going to be 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks. Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization. So we deal with some well-known and not so well-known African women in our history from all different time periods. Okay, we're going to deal with about profiles of about 100 different African women. I do that 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so because some people may not have seen it, I just want to show this apology that Will Smith posted on Instagram and Facebook. Okay, now this was from Monday, March 28th, because we talked about this on our Monday show. Will Smith said, violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. Okay. He went on to say, I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed that my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. Okay. Then he said, let's go to this next panel. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress, sincerely, Will. Okay. Now, and there have been stories written about him and problems that grew up and not standing up for his mother and different things like this. So he's a work in progress. I hope he gets the therapy that he needs. I hope he really gets the therapy that he needs. And when you're dealing with problems in your relationship or all this stuff, and then it's being reported on by the tabloids and they're all in your business, they're following you around, taking pictures, and you have a whole nother set of problems. Okay. You have a whole nother set of problems. This one right here. So I mentioned, I was having a private conversation over the past couple of days, and I mentioned this story, and some people may not have seen it. So I want to, let me see if we can pull this up quickly here. It's in my saved folder. This dealt with the joke that Regina Hall told early during the Oscars broadcast, and she joked about their open relationship. Okay. So if we can pull this up, let's see here. Where is that? All right, I'll try to pull it up here. I want to go to the story with the Black News Channel. We'll double back and go back to that one here. So we know that the Black News Channel shut down and they announced March 25th that they missed the March 25th payroll, and they were shutting down for good. Okay, there's a article from yahoonews.com, originally from the Wrap, that deals with the Black News Channel. Okay, and let's pull this up here. Black News Channel files for bankruptcy with up to $50 million in debt. Okay. Black News Channel files for bankruptcy with up to $50 million in debt. Now, Shahid Khan, who was the principal investor of the Black News Channel, invested $50 million, okay, into the Black News Channel. And if you're looking at, and he got to the point where, now he is a Pakistani American, and he got to the point where he wasn't going to put more money into it because it was failing, and it was not making a profit. So if we look at this story here, this is written by Tom Geyer, originally appeared from the Wrap. Black News Channel files for bankruptcy with up to $50 million in debt. This is from Tuesday, March 29th. Okay, BNC, which shut down operations on Friday, just 2 years after making a splashy debut, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Florida. Filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Florida. In its Monday filing, Monday, March 28th, the Tallahassee-based network listed $10 million to $50 million in liabilities. They listed $10 million to $50 million in liabilities, and estimated between 200 to 999 creditors are owed. Now, keep in mind, so Shahid Khan invested $50 million. He was the principal investor. He wasn't the only investor, but he was the largest investor. He invested $50 million. Byron Allen, is being reported that Byron Allen offered $30 million to Shahid Khan to buy it. Shahid Khan wanted $100 million. And I can see why, because if you invested $50 million and their liabilities of up to $50 million, but 50 and 50 is $100 million if you have $50 million in liabilities. So maybe liabilities are less, 20, 30, 40 million. But if you invested 50 million, you're not going to take 30. You're not going to sell it for 30. So they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Quote, they filed for bankruptcy faster than they paid their employees the money they're owed, end quote, one former employee told the Wrap on Tuesday. Quote, I received a partial payment this morning for 2 weeks of work. They still owe me for another week. Now, on Friday, around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, March 25th. We talked about this there. And we dealt with, Roland talked about how he got the news from Princell Haire, who was the president and CEO of the Black News Channel, that he got Shahid Khan to commit to paying that last payment for employees making that payroll for March 25th. Because there was an uproar because he wasn't going to make that last payment. Okay. But so now it appears, at least for some people, if not all the employees, half of the payment has been made. So that former staffer was one of roughly 230 employees who were let go on Friday, March 25th, when the Black News Channel ceased operation. When the Black News Channel ceased operations, the network plans to air repeats for the rest of this month, rest of the month of March. The channel, known to viewers as BNC, was founded by former GOP Congressman J.C. Watts and veteran broadcast executives Bob Brilliante, with a mission to provide news for and about underserved communities. Just months after the launch in February 2020, Bob Brilliante was ousted, and Princell Hare joined BNC as CEO in the fall of 2020. And Princell Hare came from CNN. All right. And what Princell Hare did was he expanded their live coverage to 17 hours of live coverage. And they had, I watched Black News Channel a lot. Okay. I know some of the people on there who are panelists. Some of us, were co-panelists on Roland Martin Unfiltered. They covered a lot of stories that mainstream media doesn't. They pay close attention to issues pertaining to the African American community, and they also covered stories on the continent of Africa, in the coups taking place and wars and things like this. So while mainstream media is so focused on Ukraine, Black News Channel, they were also dealing with what's going on the continent of Africa as well. Okay. Now, Princell Hare added several hours of daily live programming, eventually a short-lived streaming channel, and hired hundreds of employees. So they tried to grow too quickly. They were burning through too much cash too quickly. And they, out of 124 cable stations, they were second from last. They were tied with Comedy.tv, which is one of Byron Allen's stations. Okay. Now, once again, I'm not knocking the programming. I liked a lot of the programming. I watched it. Some of those segments that they aired, and you can still go to their YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel is still there. They have a lot of segments they put up of segments of actual shows and interviews they've done, things like that. That's on their YouTube channel. A lot of that content I shared here on this show. And then, research the topics, etc. So they had good programming. There was a problem with the marketing. Okay. There was a problem with the marketing. All right. And somebody said, dude is a billionaire. He needs to pay his employees. Yeah, he needs to come through with that last payment. Okay. It's one thing to pull out and say, I'm not investing any more money, but you got to come through with the payment for those employees. Man, come on. So Princell Hare added several hours of daily live programming, eventually launched a short-lived streaming channel, and hired hundreds of employees. The hiring spree came as Shad Khan, Shad for short, Shad Khan, the billionaire owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, injected a reported $50 million into the network and became the principal investor. Now, J.C. Watts, he had been trying to launch this cable station for a decade, at least a decade. Okay, J.C. Watts, former Republican congressman from Oklahoma. He's African American. He's a conservative, but I applaud J.C. Watts for what he did, because all the Negroes talking nonsense, making fun of them, things like this. J.C. Watts was actually able to pull this off. Okay, and we need to have a 24-hour Black News channel. We need that, because it's a whole lot of Negro nonsense. All the housewife shows and all the love and hip hop shows and all this stuff. We have all this Negro nonsense. Okay, and it's hard to get the viewership for a channel that's dedicated to knowledge and empowering us. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, now let's go back to this, and then I want to show you quickly here this article from, there was one from thegrio.com that we talked about a couple of days ago, because in December 2021, they had a round of layoffs right before Christmas. Okay, and we knew then that they were running into a lot of problems. All right. And then there's also a good article from the LA Times about them shutting down as well, and about them expanding too quickly, meaning well, trying to deliver quality programming and having hiring a lot of African American journalists and journalists of color, things like this, and having on the ground live programming on location interviews, etc. But just try to grow too quickly, and the revenue wasn't there to meet the amount of expenditures that they were incurring. Now, despite the infusion of cash, insiders told The Wrap little of it was used for marketing. This is one of the problems. They had a poor marketing strategy. Despite the infusion of cash, $50 million from Shahid Khan, insiders told The Wrap little of it was used for marketing. Instead, BNC's management team looked to the media to get the word out, including the Tallahassee Democrat, which in 2021 published a profile on Prince Air, who's African American and is the president and CEO of the Black News Channel, with the headline, quote, "Black News Channel thriving under new president and CEO Prince Air," who came from CNN. Now, 12 weeks later, in 2021, the network began laying off dozens of employees. And so the Griot had a piece on this. In this article from the Griot, this is from December 17th, 2021. Let me pull this up from the Griot and show you this here. Because we have to learn. It's a number of lessons here. And when Roland broke this down on Friday, I told him, in business school, we call these case studies. Because in business school, we had to study different companies and different successes and failures with companies. These were case studies that we had to study to learn from. So this one here, let's see, Black News Channel announces layoffs right before Christmas. Then you can also look at the article we talked about a few days ago from the LA Times. Shahid Khan's Black News Channel is shutting down. Okay, this is from Friday, March 25th. Shahid Khan's Black News Channel is shutting down, and gives background information into what happened also. All right. And then this article here from thegriot.com, and I can't get this ad to close out, so read this one as well. The Black News Channel announces layoffs right before Christmas. The Black News Channel announces layoffs right before Christmas. Okay. This is from December 18th, 2021. Now, there was one quick article I was trying to find. We look at this one here from March 27th from Huffington Post. Okay. A very single Regina Hall uses Oscars to find a boyfriend, pats down Jason Momoa. The comedian also joked about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's open marriage, which the couple laughed off. This is at the same award show. This is getting very little attention. Okay, so Jason and who's this? Regina Hall, Josh Brolin, and Jason Momoa after their pat down. Okay, so we know that Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer were co-hosts. The Oscar co-hosts used used fake pandemic protocols to attempt to find next squeeze, singling out Timothy Chalamet, Tyler Perry, Bradley Cooper, Simu Liu, and more to get quote unquote tested backstage. The men leaped up to the stage where they found out that Regina Hall planned to administer the test with her tongue. Okay, this is part of the Oscars also. The men leaped up on stage to find out that Regina Hall planned to administer the test with her tongue. Regina Hall also called out to Oscar nominee Will Smith from the stage, joking that while Will Smith was not single, his wife Jada Pinkett Smith had approved of him getting tested. Okay, this is during the Oscars also. Okay, Regina Hall, joking with Will Smith, said that while Will Smith was not single, his wife Jada Pinkett Smith had approved of him getting tested. Okay, referring to their open marriage. Quote, Will Smith, you're married, but you know what? You're on the list and it looks like Jada approved you. So get on up here. End quote. Regina Hall alluding to the couple's open marriage. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith both laughed, though the King Richard star waved off Hall's offer and stayed in his seat. Okay, he didn't go up on stage. Now that's before Chris Rock joked about Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head and being in G.I. Jane 2. The comedian Regina Hall also called out to Oscar winner Denzel Washington and his wife Pauletta to see if their son John David had attended with them. John David Washington. Denzel Washington laughed but shook his head no, to signal that his son was not there. When Regina Hall finally dismissed the single men to go backstage, she brought up presenters Josh Brolin and Jason Momoa for two very intimate pat downs. She said, "Oh boy, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot." Regina Hall said as she patted down Jason to laughs from the audience. Okay, so read the rest of this. This also took place at the Oscars as well. So she's drawn a little criticism for that as from some people also for that joke. All right, that's from the Huffington Post. All right, look, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart on these broadcasts. Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. You can support the African History Network. We're celebrating our 12th year anniversary of me broadcasting the African History Network show. First started March 10th, 2010. On the Harambe Radio Network. Then I went to Blog Talk Radio, and then I've been on 910 AM Superstation WFDF for 6 years. I was on the Empowerment Radio Network for a couple of years, from like 2014 to 2016 as well. Empowerment Radio Network. $ the AHN show through Cash App, and then through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. We have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And also information about how to listen to our shows and listen to the audio podcast. Wherever you get your audio podcast from, search for the African History Network show. We're on 10 different audio podcast platforms, including iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app. Search for the African History Network show. You can also listen 910 AM Superstation WFDF live there as well. That's me in the radio station broadcasting my show. And then we have the information here. Where is it? Right here. Okay, Cash App and PayPal. And then register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. On Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. So the class is regularly $130. It's on sale, $60. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. We do with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We also deal with the African presence in the Americas, dating back at least 51,000, several hundred years. Here in the land we call the United States of America. And there's a lot of books that I reference also. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. One of the books is from our friend, Dr. David Imhotep, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. So I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. You can use this information with your children. I would say the information is PG-13. And then we have a bundle pack where you can register for both classes for $100. It's a $260 value. The second class that I teach which is on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. And next class is Sunday, April 3rd. And we deal with history starting in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase. And then we go up to the Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow era, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power Movement. Okay. And we deal with what leads up to, and we go through and look at that history and look at the laws and policies put in place to put us in the predicament we're in today, so we understand where we need to go from here. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Jeanette Davis is a well-established author with 6 published books. Black Survival in White America from Past History to the Next Century was published in 1995, and it delves into the history of African Americans before slavery up to contemporary times. The Great Divide Between Blacks and Whites was released in 2008, and her autobiography, Black Just Like My Mama, was published in 2010. Soulful Journey, The Business of Beings, was released in December 2021, and her 2 latest books, Echoes from the Heart, Love Throws Poetry, and Master Being Human, were both published in January of 2022. Jeanette Davis' writings delve deeply into the psyche of Black people from ancient to contemporary times. She cuts no corners and leaves no stones unturned in relating truth, letting the chips fall where they may on both African and European doorsteps. Order Jeanette Davis's books today at Amazon.com. Search for Jeanette Davis and get to know her work today.
Mental health and well-being have long been a taboo subject in the so-called African American community. So I enlisted the help of mental health experts, thought leaders, and activists to help kill the ghost of Willie Lynch and heal from post-traumatic slave syndrome.
We experience trauma a lot of times on a subconscious level. So sometimes something happens to us and we know that it's traumatizing, but we don't really recognize the extent of the trauma.
The work that I do is larger than the fashion industry. It's larger than the art world. And I believe that I was born to bring newness into this world. I'm Kaima McIntyre. I'm 24 years old and I'm an artist. I create everything from paintings to jewelry design, metaphysical jewelry to be specific, and fashion design. The only reason why my prom dress went viral is because people needed it. Within a few days of going viral, Notori Naughton reached out to me and she's like, I saw your dress, can you make me a dress? I was equally as shocked to be asked by a celebrity to design their dress at the age of 17. That's just one person, and the list just continues to go on to Janet Jackson, to Tyra Banks. It really hits home. That means that the discussion is happening on the grounds in real time.
STEM Forward, helping our community find their place in the emerging fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Join us for our monthly live stream on our website, stemforwardedu.org. Watch, subscribe, share. Also join our mailing list to stay up to date with STEM resources and opportunities. STEM Forward, the future is now. Watch, subscribe, share.
Abundant Capital Group is a real estate investment company with over 20 years of experience in real estate. They specialize in two areas of real estate. One, they solve real estate problems with creative financing solutions that give the seller the most money for their property. And two, they show individuals how to get a higher rate of return on their investment capital with real estate note investing. If you are looking to sell or need to sell your property, here is what they provide. Market value offer, even if you have little or no equity. They typically pay all closing costs, which can be thousands of dollars. They close on a date of the seller's choosing, and the seller does not have to be out of the house at the time of closing. They take the property in an as-is condition, and the seller is not required to make any repairs. Give them a call or email them today for a free consultation and see how they can help you with your real estate needs. Call them at 973-475-8488. That's 973-475-8488. Visit their website, abundantcapitalgroup.com. That's abundantcapitalgroup.com. And email them at acg@abundantcapitalgroup.com. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Abundant Capital Group.
What does self-care mean to you? To us, it's an opportunity to reconnect with nature. A chance to create something remarkable. At Sage and Elm Apothecary, our handcrafted skincare and household products immerse you in Earth's sweetest nectar, connecting you to nature in a way you never imagined. See for yourself and visit us at sageandelmapothecary.com.